This video is brought to you by Sporlan. Quality, integrity, and tradition. So last weekend we had a compressor go bad on a Saturday, and I'm surprised. This is the restaurant's beer walk-in, and the customer decided that they wanted to replace the equipment and they didn't want us to change the compressor. And this customer buys their own equipment, so it's now Friday after that. So it's been a week almost, and they've gone without a beer walk-in. But anyways, we've got the new equipment. We're going to be doing a replacement. Right now we're recovering the charge from this one. The compressor itself is locked up. I did not diagnose it, but I did confirm diagnosis this morning. 3-phase power going to it, and the compressor's locked, and I tried reversing the rotation and it's just locked internally. So all right, gas is recovered, electrical's disconnected, line set's disconnected, everything's free. It's undone from the roof. It's all bolted back up, so that way when the crane gets here, we hook up to this one. Well, we'll bring the new one up, set it down anywhere around here, lift this one down, and then the crane will be in and out hopefully in, you know, a matter of 20 minutes is my hope. So all right, here's our old coil. New one's gonna be a little bit bigger, a little bit different. Lines will come in on a different side, but nothing too crazy. Sometimes you get lucky with an attic this big. Normally it's super tight. This is awesome. Knock on wood, this is going good so far. So our condensing unit, our line set, is one of those ones right over there. So that'll be good. Be able to use soft copper coming in too. We'll just use a soft copper roll and bend it on the roof and bring it right in. So nice. Unit's ready, rigged up, so we're gonna lift. So I'm up in the attic right now, and what we're doing is we've unbolted the old coil, and we took these bolts right here. We got these bolts, these are the old ones. We pushed down two of them. Two of them fit, so we're gonna use that to hang the coil, temporarily put tech screws, and then we got to re-drill these holes. I'd rather do that than measuring, because measuring's a pain. So basically these two holes right here and over here, the new coil bolts or mounts right up to those, so we can use that, get it started, hang them on that, put tech screws in the front temporarily, and then drill new holes. And I've got two more bolts, we'll feed them down, so I'm waiting for my techs to do that. All right, we got them all drilled now, new holes. You see they were a little bit off from the old holes, but important thing is that when I do come into the attic, I try to bring everything that I know I would need. It's inevitable that I'm gonna have to get up and get down one more time, because we've got to go mark some holes to drill a new line set penetration. The old coil was on one side, the new one, the line set comes on over here, and I'd rather it look clean inside the box and do the swap up here. So my roof penetration's right there. So the entire time I'm up here, I'm observing and kind of just looking. But then also when I do come up here, I think, okay, I knew I was gonna do bolts, so I brought something to hold the top of the bolts. You know, I try to bring everything that I know I'm gonna need. That way you're not, you know, running around, bouncing up and down for no reason. All right, we're getting ready to start this guy up. Well, we haven't done the line set yet, but we're just kind of tying in the electrical, and I need to check rotation on the phases because we have a scroll compressor. So we've got power turned on, and we're using the phase rotation test function on the field piece SC660. So we go from line 1 to line 2, and it says line 3. So we leave line 1 on, put line 3 on, and now it says line 3, 2, 1. So that means that the phase rotation is backwards. So we're gonna turn off power and switch 2 leads, and then correct the phase rotation and check it again. All right, we're gonna go ahead and test phase rotation again. And now it says line 1, 2, 3. So phase rotation is correct. We're good, and we're gonna keep on going. Yellow jacket bender for the win, the ratcheting bender. So our line set just basically goes up that penetration. So I'll go through here and clean it up so it's not rubbing on anything, but basically it was just a super short sweep here. Go it down, 90'd it right there. So super good, 7/8, 3/8, easy peasy. So we'll come in here and strap these up, and then we'll tape this and foam it all up, you know, all that fancy stuff. But we still got some stuff to clean up. We're not going crazy. We used a soft line set, came around the other side. So we're pull these valves out. I'm gonna put, you know, Viper wet rag crap on there, and we're gonna braze them real quick. But I'm just letting the nitrogen charge that comes in the condensing unit out before we braze. All right, we're at the point where we're pulling an evacuation on the system right now. It's gonna be a little while. But yeah, all is well so far. We still got some stuff to clean up. You know, it's not the prettiest thing in the world. The line set's running around this side. We still got to support it, so we'll drop it down and support it. But we were able to make it so that way there's only 4 welds on this that we did. 2 right here, and 2, actually 5. A few, because we got a P-trap downstairs. But basically, there's only welds at the evaporator coil, and there's only welds at this connection because I bent everything. So yeah, so good. I mean, it's getting there. All right, forgive my sloppy riding. That's one thing I'm not good at. I don't have a steady hand, but we fully charged the unit. Again, I've said this many times. What I do as per Heatcraft's recommendation is we add the maximum amount of refrigerant that the system is can handle on a pump down, which is 14 pounds. Heatcraft, whenever you call them, they typically say they recommend just adding that amount of refrigerant. We're trying to figure out the winter charge because this does have a head pressure control valve. It's a little bit different calculating the winter charge because it has a microchannel condenser. So what I do, pulled an evacuation, charged the unit, went ahead and weighed in the 14 pounds, the maximum charge, and then I pumped down the receiver and checked the liquid level. The liquid level is 90%, 80% right in there. Okay, so right there is my liquid level. I marked it with today's date, R448A. 448A in a couple different places, all the way up on the top too. So everything is good. We've still just got to put the panels back on and tidy up some lines and we'll be good to go. All right, so everything is operating. The box is just about down to temp. The customer's cleaning their floors right now because there's a mess in here, but everything's doing good. So we'll probably come back and do a follow-up just to make sure everything's good. They're happy. All right, came back out as a follow-up just to make sure the coil was clear of ice. I did make some adjustments because the defrost wasn't set to my liking. I went ahead and set the unit up for 4 defrosts a day and went ahead and put a fail-safe time of 20 minutes. It was factory set at 40 minutes. I'm not a fan of that, just my preference. The one thing I will say that I do like about this is you can actually set the defrost time. So I give them props for that one. So this one's 4 defrosts a day, 12, 12, 6, 6. Yeah, so that's cool. That's a cool little feature there. They do have smart defrost. One of these days I'll get comfortable with that, but I'm not comfortable with smart defrost as of this time yet. So, but yeah, all is good. All right, so this was just a pretty straightforward install. I'm sure you guys have noticed if you know that I tend to do a lot of these for the you know, and they seem to be very similar. Sometimes, you know, little things change, but they're kind of pretty much cookie cutter. It's not too difficult. It's just a matter of, you know, just being ready for the unexpected. I guess I'm a pessimist in the way that I try to go into these jobs thinking of the worst thing that can happen, so that way, you know, if it does happen, I'm prepared for it. And then if it doesn't, hey, everything is even better, right? So, you know, I always assume I'm going to go in and the attic's going to be a nightmare. And this one, I was like super stoked because I had, you know, 3.5 feet of crawl space. So it's like, oh, I could actually move up here and I'm not on my belly the entire time. It's the little things that you get excited about, right? But, you know, there's really nothing too much to be worried about with these. You know, I've done this. This was actually the first Intelligent. I actually released another video backwards. I released the first video I released on the Intelligent was actually my second Intelligent setup where I did 2 coils. But this was the very first one. And I learned a few lessons in this one, the one that we're finishing right now. You know, especially, and I've said it in the other video too, especially when you start the system up, you don't apply power. From the factory, the expansion valves come already open in the mid position. And actually the first time you apply power, the expansion valves shut. So you actually don't need to apply power to these units. You can do a nitro purge, you can do a pressure test, you can do an evacuation. You could do all of that before you even apply power to the unit, which is awesome. So that was something that I learned on this one. And then also playing with like service mode and different things like that in the manual. You got to read the manual for it. I will say that Heatcraft does a really good job in giving all the information for this equipment. They basically, you have a QR code that you scan. You can download the app, or you can, you know, go to their website, heatcraftrpd.com. And you can download all the manuals before you do these jobs. There is some particular electrical requirements that they want you to do. First off, they do not want any of these evaporator coils to be the power to be running anything else, basically. So you can't have lights running off the same power source.
Very important, and I've learned this too, when you're dealing with walk-in freezer equipment, you cannot power the evaporator from the condensing unit. You have to have separate independent power sources, dedicated power sources for the evaporator and for the condensing unit. And that's a little different. This one was a walk-in cooler, but in general, because walk-in freezers, we see that often where we have the power source, you know, from the condensing unit powers the evaporators too. The defrost heater's outside, and that's what turns the evaporator on. So if you're doing a retrofit with a intelligent coil, you actually have to have an electrician come out and give you a dedicated power source just for the evaporator coil. So there's some, you know, things you need to follow. It's very important. If you just go to Heatcraft's website, again, that's heatcraftrpd.com. They have like videos and step-by-step stuff that tells you, you know, all the steps to go through when you're installing these. But, you know, nothing was really too difficult. Just following proper refrigeration practices. You know, before I was brazing, I was purging with nitrogen. You know, pull a proper evacuation. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch these videos. Please, please, please do me a favor and leave me a comment down on the bottom. Let me know what you think. Keep in mind, I do live streams Monday evenings, 5 p.m. Pacific time, where I usually discuss the questions and the comments and different things that I get from these videos. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I really, really appreciate it. Stay safe and stay healthy.